Hello and welcome to Law Weekly on Channels Television. I am Shola Sheeli. My guest on today's edition of the program is the Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Chief Bolaji Ayorinde, who has practiced law for about 25 years. He's a former Pro-Chancellor and Chairman Governing Council, Ladoke Akintala University of Technology, LAUTECH, and was recently appointed Chairman Legal Aid Council by President Goodluck Jonathan. In a short while, I'll have a conversation with him about the Legal Aid Council. Let me start by saying congratulations on your recent appointment as the chairman of the board of the Legal Aid Council of Nigeria. Now, I know that the council is set up to handle criminal, civil, and even fundamental human rights cases on behalf of indigent citizens of Nigeria. But tell us more about the responsibilities, duties, and functions of the Legal Aid Council of Nigeria.
The council is established by law. It's a statutory body. And as you are aware, it is to provide legal services for indigent people. The current legislation is the Legal Aid Act of 2011, which was signed into law by the President. So the law replaces the earlier legislation of 2004 and the initial one that came up much earlier. And what the law seeks to do is to expand the activities of the council, making it more relevant to the public. So basically, it is a council that is established to provide legal services for Nigerians.
But how well would you say that the council has fulfilled its mandate?
Well, without putting down the achievements of the past, my answer to that is that the council can do much more. First of all, particularly in a democratic setting, delivery of justice, access to justice is fundamental. And that is why the new board is determined, very determined, to reposition the council. It is a body that is known maybe only to lawyers and a few people, and it should not be so. This is a council that should be at the forefront of the national agenda, particularly in a democratic setting. What we need to do, in the past it has done well, but we need to move on. We need to sensitize Nigerians. We need to encourage people to make use of the services of the council. We need to involve all the stakeholders. We need to make sure that everyone that comes in contact with the law has access to the services of the council, and that is what we intend to do.
Now, I know that you've alluded to some of the laws establishing the Legal Aid Council. The 2011 laws signed by President Jonathan last year repealed that of 2004. But can you let us into some of the features of the law? What are the specifics of the law? What is different about the law as opposed to what obtained with the law of 2004?
Basically, now the council ties, the new law now ties eligibility to the minimum wage. So if you earn, for example, not more than the minimum wage, you are entitled to the services of the council. And what the new law has done is to sort of make legal aid a kind of fundamental right and not a charity as it used to be. Yes, we are helping indigent people, but we are not helping them because they are indigent. It is their fundamental right to be protected. it is akin to provision of medical aid. Legal services must be there, and that is what the new law has done. Another example is the establishment of a legal aid fund to be administered by the council. So this also will help the council to harness as much revenue as possible, both from the government and from other sources, so that its functions can be brought to bear on the lives of Nigerians.
All these were not in the old law.
The old law did not provide for a legal aid fund. So this is a new innovation in the Act.
Now, apart from lack of awareness, which you also mentioned earlier, what are the other major constraints, that is facing the Legal Aid Council?
The major constraints from my initial perception is even the stakeholders themselves. We need to sensitize the justice delivery system, the police, the magistrates, the judges. For example, once you read someone what they call the Miranda rights, it is imperative that you must ask whoever you are arresting whether that person has legal representation. And if that person does not have, you must inform that person of his right to be assisted by the Legal Aid Council. Once you do not do that, you begin to infringe on the fundamental rights of that person, because you are denying that person access to justice. And that is one of the major things that we intend to do. The board will deliberate, and one of the major things we want to do now is to hold conferences and stakeholders meetings so that everybody comes on board. Let us come together, let us develop a structure that everyone, no matter how lowly placed, yes, the elites, the rich people, they can afford the services of lawyers and advocates of their choice. But the man on the street, that woman in the market that is struggling, if he or she has a problem, then there must be a way of providing assistance by the state. It is imperative.
How much of an issue would you say that funding is?
Well, funding is something that is always a big issue. And we're in a developing country, so there is always a problem with funding. All sectors of the economy, government is fighting very hard to satisfy everybody. But what we need to also do, because of the importance of what we are doing, we need to bring this to the forefront. We need to make government see the reason why this should be adequately funded. We need to bring stakeholders, we need to bring organizations together to see that people have access to justice. It is very fundamental. Like I said, it is like having access to the hospital. You can't say that because that man does not have money in his pocket and you find him dying on the street, you should not help him. So this is the same thing, and this is what we are going to put to government, that you need to fund legal aid. Organizations, you need to partner with legal aid. And apart from funding, we are also going to encourage pro bono services by the big law firms, the lawyers. We are going to establish Legal Aid Council partner firms that will come on board and take cases from us on pro bono basis. And what are we giving them in return? This is a great corporate social responsibility on behalf of these firms. They will be entitled to have our logo on their stationery. They will be entitled to have our plaque in their offices. And it is something that they will be proud of, to say that we partner with the Legal Aid Council of Nigeria to provide legal services to indigent people.
So that way they are also giving back to the
They are
community.
giving back to the community that has given a lot to them. And it also enhances their profile. Because anywhere they go, they see it on their stationery that they work with us. And what is the work they're doing with us? They're providing legal services.
And how can ordinary Nigerians, indigents, access the services of the Legal Aid Council of Nigeria?
Yes, very well. What the council has done very well in the past, and we need to have a lot of media backing for this, is that they have offices in all the states of the Federation and Abuja. Now they are also establishing offices in all the local governments in Nigeria. So this they have done very well in the past. They keep on doing more and more of this. And so we are going to embark on a serious publicity drive so that everybody will know that these offices exist. We are also going to take advantage of information technology. There will be telephone numbers, there will be call centers, so that at any point in time, there's access. There will be road shows, and we will lay a foundation so that by the time this board finishes its tenure, the next set of people coming will have something to work on. Yes.
What essentially is the difference between the Legal Aid Council of Nigeria and the Office of the Public Defender at the state level?
We'll complement each other. In Lagos State, for example, the Office of the Public Defender has done very well. And I think from the papers I read when I came in as chairman of the Legal Aid Council, there is a very decent level of collaboration between the two offices. And it cannot be too many. When you provide this kind of services, they should not be exclusive. Rather, they should collaborate with each other and see, because at the end of the day, it's about delivery. There's no conflict at all. So I'm going to encourage this council to collaborate very well with the OPD, because the OPD is there. It has garnered good experience over the years, and it has done very well. It's efficiently manned and well run, and so is the Legal Aid Council. I know that sometime last year or the year before, there was a visit by the DG of my council to the OPD, and they discussed certain things. So they provide similar services, and they can cooperate. For example, I saw that the OPD had constraints in dealing with some legal issues that had aspects that went beyond Lagos State, where the OPD could not exercise jurisdiction. We are federal. We can take the whole thing. So we can cooperate with the OPD, look at cases that they have, that their jurisdictions are limited or might be impaired, then we can take it from there. So it's about cooperation. So between the states and the federal government. And this is the same with all the other states of the Federation in any part of the country. What we need to do is, without looking at political considerations, this is professional. We want to work for the people of Nigeria.
Now let's talk about the administration of justice in the country. One of the major challenges is a slow pace of court cases, which in turn leads to prison congestion. What would you say can be done to tackle this challenge?
Well, I think the issue of congestion of prison has been on for quite a long time, and various administrations in the past have come up with many schemes to decongest. We are not there yet, but efforts are being made. From our perspective, by the time we roll out our program, we are going to be very aggressive in bringing down significantly. And prisons are decongested really and truly by awaiting trial inmates.
They take up a larger part.
That is where the problem is. So we have to encourage the system to take these cases, and most of the time it is because there is no legal representation for these inmates. So they're there, they bring them to the courts, they take them back, and there are no lawyers to represent them. And looking at the population of lawyers in the country, if this is well administered and the state has a responsibility to actually involve itself in this, then we will have better success. So we are going to have a very aggressive approach to decongestion.
The police has been largely fingered and identified as a major contributor to prison congestion. How well does your council, engage them?
The police, we will do our best to engage. They have their challenges, and let us face it. The police are Nigerians. Policemen are Nigerians, and they have their challenges. This is an area I don't want to go into because I don't have the authority to, but as a Nigerian, I can comment and say that, look, you go to a police barracks and you see how the place is. Then you expect the people that are coming from inside these places to become something else when they get on the street. It is impossible. So the government must deliberately look after the police. Governments in the past, if you go to most army barracks today, or you see what has been done there, they are much more decent than where you keep policemen. When you get to a police station, in most of the times, it does not look like a place where problems are solved. In fact, when you get there, you know that your problem is about to multiply. But that is not the fault of the police as an organization. It is what you put in that you get out. So what are we doing about the police? This is part of the challenges that we have. But at the senior level, the council is engaging the police. We have very senior police officers on the board of the council, so we interface. And this is an ongoing process. We will find areas by which we can sensitize the police. That again, it makes a lot of sense for somebody to be brought, you arrest somebody, and for the person to be dealt with according to law as quickly as possible. Mind you, by saying that people must have access to lawyers does not mean that if you commit a crime, automatically you are going to walk out of the place. If you commit a crime, you have access to a lawyer. What it means is that the law will deal with you expeditiously and in the right manner, so that if you are going to be convicted, you would be as quickly as possible. Not that you do not know your fate for 5, 6, 7 years. Then one day somebody tells you you have to go to prison. Maybe the offense is for 3 years and you spent 7 years. That is not good for the society.
Well, that's the program this week. Please feel free to send in your questions via email, Facebook, and Twitter. The addresses are on the screen. I am Shola Shoyeli. Thank you for watching.